Well, I think what a non-profit artist like Space can offer is really the tools for emerging artists to build a career. And so those are, the seeds of the beginning of projects. How can we offer financial support to those? How can we offer infrastructural support? The space to actually try out things, to record. I think as an artist, I understand what those needs are, and so my hopes are that I can really keep up with the needs of artists as I'm developing my own career and continue to stay fresh and continue to think about what artists need. I think absolutely. I think my time at Juilliard, at the beginning, I really focused just on writing, which was such an extraordinary opportunity to have the artists that I'm still working with today. For example, Stephen Gosling, who's playing my piece on opening night, is a colleague of mine, and we started Vision into Art together, the nonprofit I still run. So yes, it prepared me in the sense that the contacts that I made were all built there while I was a student. And it's really, in many ways, when I was there, it was very much focused on building careers. So less about this kind of college experience and more about building the next steps into the future. I then took it one step further because I felt that that as an emerging artist, there were certain holes and things that we needed, but it's, for me, what we can offer as a space are really the next steps once you leave conservatory or any kind of training and build into into a professional life. It's interesting that you say that, because when I was 13 or 14, I wanted to start a school. And I wanted to start a school that was essentially, I called it, had circular education, where each discipline would inform the other. Now I wouldn't dare say I would start a school, because I think the skill set for starting a school is one that I don't have. But what I am interested in doing is actually what we're doing here, which is a postgraduate place where we can really offer the tools of what it takes to live in the current artistic landscape. And so in that way, I think that disciplines should be informing each other. There should be an open communication. I feel that artists should be really thinking about the context within which they create their art, and thus be creating opportunities for other artists, connections between artists, international bridges. And so, although we will roll those things out slowly with National Sawdust, I do think of it as a type of school. Such a good question. I think that it's always been important. I think the reason why it's important now is that we're living in extremely challenging times as artists, and especially as artists living in a city such as New York, where it's very hard to kind of survive just from the pure financial angle. I think that we really have to be looking at the entire system of the arts and be thinking from the ground up how to build a sense of need in terms of art in everyday life, how to build competency in terms of understanding arts and really having it be part of the everyday curriculum. So in that sense, I think artists really need to take the problem by the reins and really be thinking about what skills that they have besides their specific discipline. So I like to think of being a 21st century artist as one who is obviously talented and has the strength in their specific discipline, but one that also thinks about entrepreneurship, activism, and education. And by no means do I think that every artist has to have competency in those areas, but to understand which area they're predisposed to as an artist and take those challenges on board. Really think of it as adding laptop. It's the reason to work in electronics, I think, is to achieve something that you can't achieve through acoustic instruments. So for example, in a work that I wrote called Labyrinth, it was a piece that I wrote in a period of time where I was at home a lot. Due to an injury, and so the sounds in my everyday life were washing machines, very kind of common day lives that I then turned into a drum set of everyday life. So you're thinking about these sounds in ways that you can create new instruments, and I think you use that when the palette calls for it. My dream for National Sawdust in 5 years is that we really build an endowment, and that we can continue to commission work. That is both my dream and my dare, because it's very difficult in terms of really supporting emerging artists. I think at the end of the day, it's building the financial support to really help artists, really get to that next step. So that's my dream and my dare. And I think that we need to continue thinking about, commissioning the craziest things and really having this be a home for artists to dream about international bridges, to dream about, how to make our local community really feel like National Sawdust is part of the fabric of this community, and then how that extends into the larger New York area, and then finally through the rest of the world. So there's been so much dreaming to get to this point that when I think 5 years down the line, I think that a lot of the seeds we're planting right now are seeds that are going to flower and show me the ways that we need to grow. But definitely it's cementing the support for what I know is really needed in New York City, which is that support for emerging artists, keeping artists here, keeping artists feeling like they need to be here and they need to express themselves here.